The effects of war can no doubt be traumatizing, and while the war in Afghanistan may be officially over, its impact will continue to be felt. Army veteran and author of the new book, Surviving Son, Scott DeLucio, lost a brother in that fight, and he joins us now to share his story as well as a message of hope. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Thanks for having me, Aubrey.
Well, one of the things you touch on in this book is the tragedy of your brother's death on the battlefield. Talk about how that's impacted you.
Yeah, so my brother and I were both raised in a very patriotic family. We both answered the call to service after 9/11 and joined the military. And we both were deployed to Afghanistan in 2010, where my brother Stephen was tragically killed in a firefight. But I used that experience and the loss of my brother and the combat that I experienced to go out and help other veterans. And it led me to writing this book, Surviving Son, and starting my podcast, the Drive On podcast, where both of them really the goals are to go out and help veterans and help them raise awareness for the mental health issues that a lot of people come back with.
And I know a lot of us can only imagine what type of stress, what types of issues you may be dealing with when you return from serving, when you return from those types of situations. Can you talk about what's being done to help U.S. troops that are dealing with things like PTSD, especially after serving in Afghanistan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of the reason why I started the Drive On podcast is because I personally knew several veterans who served overseas, and they took their own lives after coming back home due to the stresses of combat and the PTSD that they were struggling with. And if you look at the numbers of veterans who are struggling with mental health, the numbers are absolutely staggering. And so we talked to organizations and nonprofits who are out there with innovative ways that they're trying to combat the issues that the veterans are struggling with, and that they're coming up with great new ways. And it's really just a matter of getting the message out there and talking to these people and making sure that the message is spread amongst all the veteran communities.
Oh, I think it's wonderful that you're really still trying to give back and help others that you can really relate to. And in this book, you do reveal some of your raw emotions. What are you hoping that readers walk away with? What are you hoping that they find when they read your book?
You know, I hope that the veterans and the service members who pick up my book, Surviving Son, I hope that they learn from my mistakes and learn that there are healthy ways to deal with the PTSD that they may be struggling with and the combat stress that they had to endure. But I also hope that the civilians out there who maybe never experienced combat or never served in the military, I hope they learn about the sacrifices that the military make and how it affects our families, especially like a family like mine where we lost my brother serving in Afghanistan, and how it affects the families and the friends and the communities that we all live in.
Scott, are you able to share some of your thoughts and what's been going through your mind, especially as we've seen what's unfolded in Afghanistan in recent weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, unfortunately, the withdrawal should have gone a little bit better there, but that's something that's in the past. And right now, I feel like there's a lot of talk about people saying how the lives that we lost over there, it was all for nothing and it was a big wasted effort, but I don't feel that way, and I try to focus on the positives. I don't feel that the lives were lost all for nothing, especially, including my brother. I don't feel that it was all for nothing. A lot of good was done by going over there and taking the fight to the enemy and preventing another 9/11 style attack here in America. And so by doing that, we saved countless American lives by going over there and taking that fight over there. But we also saved Afghan lives by making it so that they didn't have to live under the oppressive Taliban rule. And we also provided schools and infrastructure to the Afghan people and gave them a little bit of taste of freedom. And I hope that they enjoyed that taste, and I hope that they will continue to fight for their own freedom.
Scott, so many Americans were also appreciative of what our veterans and what our military does to protect our freedoms. What is something that Americans can do if they want to help veterans?
I'd really encourage everyone to go out and really try to learn and understand some of the issues that are affecting veterans. I talk about some of the issues that I dealt with and that my family dealt with in my book, Surviving Son, and in my podcast, the Drive On podcast. I talk to other veterans who are struggling with things and how they dealt with that. And so anyone who wants to learn about this, they can go to Amazon and check out the book, Surviving Son there. It's in paperback and Kindle format, or survivingsonbook.com. Or you can follow the podcast. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts, search for Drive On Podcast, or go to driveonpodcast.com.
Scott, thanks for your time this morning and sharing some of your story with us. If you want to learn more about Scott and his book, you can find that on survivingsonbook.com.